Whew. All right, y'all. That sucked. Tough one. Tough one today. U.S. volleyball fans not thrilled with what we saw today. It is day one of Volleyball Nations League. The USA men got beat 3-0 by VNL newcomer Ukraine. Set scores, let's see, 25-22, 25-20, 25-23. A lot of similarities with the U.S. women's loss to Czechia last week, also in Rio. A lot of similarities. We'll talk about it, but that was not good volleyball to watch. It was pretty painful. We were outclassed by a team that hadn't been there before. I know our roster is what it is. We have a lot of youth, a lot of guys that we're trying to get in the mix. The purpose of that match today was not necessarily to put all of our resources into it towards winning it. And we'll obviously talk about the bigger picture later, but there is a difference, and a difference between, and like the coexistence between identifying bad volleyball and being patient and supportive and encouraging of this team. And we're going to do both, all right? But there was bad volleyball played today. The serve reception was not good at all. 28% positive passing. That's not 28% perfect passing. 28% positive. That's like 28% where your setter has two options. That's horrendous. 7% perfect passing. Really bad. Aced only 5 times, which I'm a little bit surprised by. Ukraine had 5 aces to 16 errors on serve. I thought Vasil Tupci, their lefty, was the most difficult guy to deal with, but that is something that we absolutely should have scouted and been better prepared for. So reception was a huge problem. Jordan Ewert, 20% perfect, 40% positive, was the best of the group. Cooper Robinson got a lot of targets, was not great. Kyle D'Agostino got the second most targets and was quite bad. Ace twice, 0% perfect passing rate. Now, I don't know about that number exactly, but the picture it paints is not a pretty one. Flip that battle on the other side, and our serving was similarly bad. 3 aces to 14 service errors. Gabi Garcia had 1 ace to 4 errors. Ethan Champlin had an ace. Merrick McHenry had an ace. Everybody else just did not contribute in that area, particularly like Ewert and Carnegie, both 0 aces, 2 errors. Rowan, 0 aces, 3 errors. Cooper Robinson, 0 aces, 2 errors. The serving execution and the serving strategy was not good enough. So we were going to struggle to win any volleyball match against any opponent when the point is starting like that, whether we were serving or receiving. But then I did not like the offense that we ran particularly. Gabi Garcia took a long time to get going on the right side. I think he started like 1 for 6 with 4 errors, just hitting the ball straight down into the middle of the block, barely above the level of the tape. Just a lot of like really low level, like literal altitude, and then low like caliber of volleyball swings from a guy that's played for the best team in Italy this year and before. Like that's just not an acceptable quality of offense that we were running. The level of detail in the connections from Andrew Rowan, who got the started setter, to really all the attackers was not there. I would expect him to connect with Cooper Robinson flawlessly, who he's set the last 3 years, but anything but. Lots of misconnections on the bic. There was one free ball that we got that we misconnected on the bic, and Robinson tipped it into the top tape, and that was pretty brutal. Out-of-system offense was not good. I did not like the decision-making. I kind of had the same complaint with the women, but the same goes for the men, and I talked about it with Eric Shoji. Like, if you are in an out-of-system situation and you have any chance, you think, with the block in front of you and where the set location is to swing and terminate, you need to do it. You need to do it with this team in this situation. This is how you learn to take those swings, when and how to take those swings. You can't replicate a real VNL match in real out-of-system situations in the practice gym. You just can't do it. These moments are valuable. And tipping the ball, even if the intent is to recycle, which sometimes is a good choice, tipping the ball over the net, and which I give Ukraine's off-speed defense a lot of credit, it adds nothing to our ability to win this game, and it doesn't make us better in the long term. Out of system, I want to see these guys taking rips. If it costs us a set, if it costs us a match, that's okay. The situation for the U.S. is what it is. The results don't matter the entire Olympic cycle, especially this VNL. And that's clear based on the lineup choices. This is the time to take those swings and to be that aggressive. But watching us tip the ball is straight up infuriating. And then the other position group I really was not impressed by was the middle blocker position, man. I know blocking is hard. I played middle at a painfully low level compared to these guys, but the blocking display by our middles today was pretty abysmal. We were way behind wherever Ukraine's offense was going, and that is not a team with a massive amount of firepower or variance, but they looked like they had been in VNL forever. Looked like they'd been in there forever. Give them a lot of credit. Yuri Semeniuk got going in the middle. Vitaly Shchitkov is their setter's name. I thought he did a really good job. He was able to feed the ball in places from a little bit further off the net. And the thing that I don't like mechanically about what our middles are doing is you have to make a choice, and that this is either your choice, whether you're empowered to make this choice or whether it's coming from the sideline. You have to make a choice in relation to the opposing middle blocker. You have to commit on them. It means stay in front of them and jump on them no matter what, or you have to read. And I don't really think that we were doing either, because we were getting killed in the middle game when they were setting it. We were way behind. We were not in the right spaces with our bodies. Our hands were down low. Our ability to get up and over the net fast just had no chance. And then the ability to get to the wings and seal blocks was not really there either. We outblocked Ukraine 8-6, but half of those came in the third set when we kind of woke up, made some changes, remembered how to play volleyball a little bit, and were able to trap them out of system a little bit more. So in terms of in-system blocking game, it was not good enough. We did not touch enough balls. We did not slow anybody down. So it really reminds me a lot of the women's game against Czechia last week, where we were up 2-0, got reverse swept against a team that was new to VNL. But I think Ukraine and Czechia, the Ukraine men and Czechia women are similar. They're new to VNL, but they're not new to playing like good internationally representative styles of volleyball. And Ukraine, we didn't make them uncomfortable in any way today. Not enough service pressure, not enough blocking pressure. We didn't turn the few defensive opportunities we got into legitimate offense. The attention to detail was not there. We let a team that is new to the VNL level, but not new to like playing the style of volleyball, get really comfortable. And that's a bummer, because especially in the third set, Ukraine tried to give us that game. They tried to give us that game late. They made unforced hitting errors. I think they missed at least 2 serves in a row, which we promptly then returned the favor and gave right back to them. We had very real chances. Cooper Robinson hit a ball out of bounds to lose the match, just unforced. One of our 10 unforced errors attacking, in addition to block 6 times. So the quality of volleyball is not good, and there is a lot that can be learned from this. It's kind of like I was saying with the women on the 9x9. The women's losses to Italy and Brazil, throw away that tape. There's nothing that can be learned from that. You were totally outclassed by players with substantially better, teams with substantially better players, more experience, more ability, way more familiarity with the level, and like, you just got to remember what that feels like to play at that level and move on from that. But there were definitely lessons that I want the women to learn from the Czechia loss, and the same goes for the men from this. We got to be more aggressive out of system. We got to take care of details. We got to find a way in serve reception to at least just not get aced, which is exactly what Eric Shoji was emphasizing earlier this week when he talked to me. And then that will create a lot of out-of-system chances, and you just have to make better decisions. Got to make better decisions. You got to be aggressive when the set and the block calls for that possibility. If it's possible, I want us to swing. Otherwise, I want us to make good decisions. And we just need better volleyball across the board. And it's a bummer. It felt like a missed opportunity today. I thought that Ukraine team, I picked them to go 4-8 this VNL, for example. I think they get a lot of credit today for just executing. Again, we didn't make them uncomfortable really at all, but I do give them credit. I don't think that they should be underestimated. I don't think they're going to be in the relegation picture. I think they have enough. Well, they don't have depth, that's for sure. I think they're going to get significantly worse as the tournament goes on, as their starting lineup of guys that we saw today, like that was really their A team today, their top 7. We saw today, as those guys get more wear and tear, I think the level will fade a little bit over the course of the tournament, but I do give them a lot of credit. They played a much closer version to their best volleyball today than we did. Now, here's the thing. Here's where the conversation turns the corner, because still what we have to keep in mind here is the context. We started 2 guys fresh out the NCAA. We started, 2 more guys with 1 year of international experience playing overseas. And I guess McHenry's been overseas for 1 year. Ewert's been out there for a little while, but then Champlin came in, and he's only been in Europe for a year. Jendrick, I expect a lot more from. Is the guy who's been to the Olympic Games before, but obviously Rowan's young, Robinson's young. Garcia started horrendously, got significantly better. I would like to see a lot more out of Kyle D'Agostino, but the context of this U.S. situation is so important. Even Karch Karai was saying it. He holds this team to such a high standard, and he didn't like anything that he saw today, as according to himself in the mid-match interview. But had we needed to win this match for the sake of the result, we would have made different choices. Would have saw Quinn Isaacson, would have probably changed up more outside hitters, might have changed up a libero, might have changed up middle blockers earlier, might have made different choices for the entire roster that went to Rio, but that's not the case. That's not the case, and that's why we are able to, as smart volleyball fans, to blend the identification of bad volleyball and the encouragement of patience and understanding and support that this team needs given their situation. They have a runway of infinite length. This is the first match of an entire Olympic cycle. The entire Olympic cycle. It would be ridiculous to draw any conclusions from this match. It would be ridiculous to draw any conclusions about any players from this match. This is a fantastic learning experience. And that's the key, is that we need to take the experience and learn and improve. We talked about the things that need to be improved, and there are many. Got to get better in a lot of areas. I think we understand now the level of detail and the level of execution that is required to play volleyball at the Nations League level. And we need to be better at that across the board. But that is something that we can learn and grow from. And that is the point of this group and this VNL and these roster choices, is to get guys experience in doing this that have never done it before. And that's great. That's great. I see a lot of potential in this group. Cooper Robinson has unlimited potential. And I love that he's getting a lot of court time. I hope that he continues to get a lot of court time all week. That guy, him in particular, just his vertical ceiling, obviously, his general touch on the ball, his skill, and then his just like, he's used to being the guy offensively for UCLA. I think that's pretty valuable. You could tell that Rowan trusted him down the stretch in the match, even though it didn't work out today. But that's a guy who just needs to keep playing. Needs to keep playing. Same with Gabi Garcia. Needs to keep playing. He's been on good teams when he's played professionally. He's been coming off the bench a lot. He has a mindset switch that he needs to make, and I kind of saw him flip and do that in the middle of this match, and he needs to keep playing. Andrew Owen needs to keep playing. He needs to set international matches. He needs to be used to the speed of the game and how to wrap his brain around that, how to make choices, how to connect, how to locate the ball, how to scramble in transition and make good choices. All of our outside hitters need to play more volleyball. Both liberos need to play more volleyball. We need to see more international serves, pass more balls. The middle blockers need to play more volleyball. They need to make better reads. They need to understand opposing teams better. They need to be much more disciplined with their handwork and be able to get up and over the net faster. And those reps that are coming at this in this tournament with no risk is amazing. We have that opportunity. The only thing that we can't do is get relegated. That's the only thing we can't do. I'm confident this team will not get relegated. I think there are winnable matches ahead of us this week. Then there are winnable matches later in the schedule, especially as we can make some different roster choices. I mean, week 2, we have China, which in Chicago, I would hope that would be a guaranteed win. Then Canada, who's very beatable. Then we have Turkey and Germany in week 3, and then Japan, depending on what they bring in week 3. You never know. But I'm really looking ahead at this week, and I want to see how quickly this particular group, this group that's down there in Rio right now, can respond to this. We've got Iran in right about 24 hours from right now. Iran just finished getting clapped, just slapped around by Brazil. Slapped around. Wasn't even close. Brazil, all Brazil had to do was not make errors and dig a couple balls, and they just completely coasted to that win. Iran is explosive. They have lethal servers when they're on, and sometimes those dudes can serve balls that nobody on the planet can do anything about. But if you keep the ball in play and you don't give Iran points for free, then that team's lack of volleyball IQ and lack of skill is really going to show up. And this is a matchup tomorrow that we've got to put forth a better product, because it's a very winnable match. Very, very winnable. And that's no matter who goes out there. I would love to see a little bit of Quinn Isaacson. I think tomorrow against Iran would be a match that makes sense to have him in there. I'd love to see a little bit of Mason Briggs. I would like to see Gabi Garcia and Cooper Robinson go again. I thought Ethan Champlin was good off the bench, but either him or Ewart next to Robinson I would be fine with. And then I want to see some Pat Gassman in the middle. I didn't love what I saw from any of the other three middles that played today. I want Gassman to get a look, and I want the rest of the guys just to be available and try to make more of a difference. And Iran is a really good matchup. So that's a game that I would really love to win, a game that we can win. Iran's kind of like a less scary version of Cuba with better resources. I mean, they just have physical dudes who love to hit the ball as hard as they can and that don't have any idea how to play the actual game of volleyball. And they've got a brand new coach as well, and they don't really know what they're doing yet. And this is a team that we can beat and an opportunity that we need to take advantage of. And I already love the messaging from Karch Kirai in timeouts, the encouragement of moving on to the next point and just identifying easy fixes. You're not gonna make massive game plan shifts in the middle of a match with a group like this. There's so much focus that just needs to go on our side. But that's the beauty of an opponent like Iran, is that if we focus on our side and play somewhat clean volleyball, we need to do not make double-digit attacking errors in 3 sets. Do not serve 15 balls out of bounds, 14 balls out of bounds, only 3 aces. That ratio is not good. If we play cleaner volleyball than we did today, and we turn our brains on a little bit more and we just make better decisions, then tomorrow is a match we can absolutely win. And that's the beauty of this VNL, because this is a very early step in a long, long process. And I beg of all of you American fans to be patient, to relax, to continue to watch, to continue to support. Don't be calling for anybody's jobs. Don't be calling for anybody to get cut or benched. Give these guys the latitude that they need to take real reps and figure it out. Winning would be great. I like to say that winning is a skill, and a skill needs to be practiced. Tomorrow, I think, is a great opportunity, and we're going to go out there and hopefully put a better product on the floor than we did today. Really quick, I guess I can quickly whip through the rest of the games that happened today on day one. I watched a little bit of Poland-Netherlands last night. The Dutch popped off a little bit. They blocked a couple balls, served a couple balls, won a set, but that was Poland's C team. Poland still won that match pretty cleanly. Japan's B team beat China. China is so bad, guys. China is so bad, and they don't even have their best player in Zhang Jingyin. And Japan's B team completely mopped the floor with them. I wish I'd seen more of Serbia versus Turkey. That seemed like a weird game. Turkey exploded in the first and then kind of laid down and died after that. Italy beat Bulgaria. That was competitive. Good match in Quebec City. I know Everett's already got some interviews up that we're recapping that one. It's good to see the Nikolov brothers get a little bit of run, but that team just needs more options, man. Bulgaria needs more options. It can't just be the 2 guys named Nikolov. They need help from the wings. They need much better first contact, and Italy is Italy. So that team looks good, and it just blows my mind that we're watching Simone Giannelli set the first match of the entire Olympic cycle. It's such a waste of space. We already talked about Brazil versus Iran. Brazil looked solid. They played at home. They played clean, and they dug balls, and they let Iran give them a bunch of points for free. And then Argentina beat France. That game ended the most recently. Argentina, man, I give them credit. It sounds like from what Everett was saying that they got to Quebec City at least a day later than scheduled because of some travel issues, and they turned around and beat France's youth team, but France's youth team that has a crazy amount of talent. So credit to Argentina. See if they can keep putting that thing together. Germany versus Canada coming up in 10 minutes. Slovenia versus Cuba coming up in 10 minutes. If you're an American fan, you got to watch Slovenia versus Cuba because those are our last 2 opponents this week. Slovenia is very young. They are very young this particular week. I expect a lot of Rok Mozic and a lot of question marks elsewhere. And then Cuba is Cuba. Good Cuba is lethal. Good Cuba is cited rarely, and but when they're bad, they are extremely beatable. And I don't know, maybe maybe Slovenia and Cuba wear each other out tonight, and we get a bit of an advantage against them later in the week. I don't know, but a lot of volleyball left to be played. A lot of reason to be optimistic despite the result today. So I know if you're American, we don't like losing. I don't like getting 3-donged by Ukraine. I'm 25% Ukrainian. I do not like getting 3-donged by Ukraine, but I give that team credit. I know our team will put in the work to learn as fast as possible, get some film in, get some studying of what we did today and what Iran attempted to do today down in Rio, and we got more ball to play tomorrow. So if you're in the U.S., watch that game tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern. It's on Big Ten Network, also on VBTV. And join the Volleyball Source Discord if you want to keep the conversation going. I'm going to scan the chat and see if we got any big questions, any big takeaways, or what's going on. What's the name of Argentina's setter? Yeah, it's Matias Sanchez. He's like 1.75 m or something crazy short, and he plays 6 rotations, and he does his best, and they won a match today. So that was pretty cool. People are talking about the potential for some of these American players that are shooting up this week to actually make the Olympic roster in 2028. I don't think we even need to have that conversation right now. I don't think that adds a lot of value, especially because we don't know exactly which of our returning Olympians are shooting for LA 2028. We can guess, but really it doesn't matter. We right now are trying to develop good American volleyball players on both the men's and the women's side who can put on the jersey in any given tournament and play good volleyball, whether it's this Olympics, whether it's next Olympics, or I don't know, 2036, wherever that Olympics is going to be. I don't care. I'm focused right now on developing better international American volleyball players. So that's it. Chill out, American fans. We got this. It is okay to do both identifying bad volleyball and also encouraging patience and support and understanding and seeing the bigger picture and understanding the context. That's important, and we're going to keep doing that as American fans because we are better than the reactionary garbage that I've been seeing on social media the last week or two. We're going to continue to be smart volleyball people. We are going to support the best sporting country on the planet as we start to build this thing, and we have the most unique situation in this entire Olympic cycle with which to do it. So join the Volleyball Source Discord again. Stick around for all of our content coming out. Everett is in Quebec City. He's pumping out interviews literally right now, which is awesome. We got more matches starting in literally 5 minutes. So join our Discord community if you want to chat about those. We will see you soon. I don't know. I might be able to do another one of these after the Iran match tomorrow night. If not, I might do one on Friday morning, but either way, I'll see you then. Go USA.